Hey everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to my kitchen slash dining room. So if you guys have followed our videos on Heart and Soil Farm, you know that we have a 1-acre homestead. We do chickens, pigs, ducks, hemp. We grow vegetables. We have a little mini orchard that we grow, so we kind of have our hands into everything. And one thing that I've really wanted to try to do was make soap. But to be perfectly honest with you, I've been terrified of it. Like, you hear about using poison and all this, so I've been really, apprehensive about jumping into this. I've talked to a few people about it, over the last year and a half, and we ended up coming across a magnificent deal to get all the products that we need to go ahead and start this. So Rob and I we talked about it and we were like, okay, let's just do it. And I'm gonna put my fears aside and I'm just gonna jump on in and I'm going to start this new adventure and this new endeavor with us. So I decided to go ahead, and this is my first time ever. I am not a professional. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I decided, since I'm going to start this for the first time, and since I did have fears about it and just concerns of if I was going to do it right, if I was going to mess it up, I figured I would bring you guys along on my very first ever batch of making soap. So here we go, y'all. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over everything that's on the table with y'all so that you kind of have an idea what I'm working with and what I'm going to be doing. Alright, so these are some molds that I got. Now, you'll notice there is, we have these strapped because I don't have them secured yet, but these type of molds, they have parchment paper inside, and that's the best way for everybody that I've spoke to and all the YouTube videos that I've watched to get the molds out once they're ready. And so we'll just take the strap off, these molds open up, and I'm able to get the soap out. So I have two different molds here because I'm going to do two separate batches. I'm going to do one rosemary, which is what I'm going to do first, and then I'm going to do one just rose. I have already done a lot of the pre-work. So this particular recipe that I'm doing makes 7 pounds of soap. And so that's why I have these larger molds available. And so it calls for coconut oil, olive oil, lye, and water. All of these are in grams, and these measurements are extremely precise. We use a scale and we measure out every single ingredient that's in it. And it is very, very important that you follow the ingredient to the T. So for the sake of time, and also because I don't know how this is gonna go, I went ahead and pre-measured a lot of the stuff. So this is the lye and the water. I actually measured that outside because of the fumes. It does put off fumes. You must, and this is the biggest thing that I learned, you must be in a very open, well-ventilated area with this. Now that it's inside, I can smell just a hint of it, but it's not anything near like it was when it was just mixed. Also, this mixture becomes extremely hot very, very quickly. I mean very, very, very hot. You have to have your protective equipment, your gloves, your goggles, protect your skin. If for any chance, I did learn, and this hasn't happened to me yet, thank goodness, but I did learn that if you were to get any of this solution on you, have it splash or anything, have vinegar nearby, that will help to neutralize it. Of course, so that's the lye mixture already measured out and done. These two containers here are the oils. This is a very classic olive oil. When you get olive oil, do not get virgin, do not get extra virgin, don't get any of that stuff at all. Just get regular classic olive oil. So I've measured that here, and then I have my coconut oil. What I did with my coconut oil is I stuck it in my car. I just took this whole thing, put it in my car window to let it melt. So that's here. Now you want all of these ingredients to be right around the same temperature. So that's why I have let this stay outside. I brought it in it's at room temperature now. The oils are at room temperature now. Once you do it, if you want to, do it quickly, because it has been a few hours since I've made this mixture. If you want to do it more quickly, you will have to heat the oil up, because, like I said, these ingredients do have to be very, very similar in temperature. Then this is going to be my fragrance. I'm going to use a rosemary oil, and then to color it, I'm super excited, I'm going to use this sea green mica powder. Now, with the mica powder, with the coloring, you kind of put it in to the color that if you want a deeper color, you add more. So that's the mica powder. And for the essence, for the smell, for the fragrance, you can also put that in to how you prefer, but it's normally a teaspoon per pound. So I'm going to do right around 6 or 7. I don't want it to be like overpowering, but I still do want to be able to smell it. So I'm probably going to do right around 6 or 7, kind of gauge it as I'm going through. So now, y'all, here we go. Now, I did measure everything separately just because this is my first time. I'm so nervous about it. I don't know why, but I'm just so nervous, to do this. Anything new, how you kind of get those butterflies and stuff? Well, I have them. So I measured everything separately just so that I knew I had the proper grams for every single item. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the item and put it in this. Put it in this stainless steel pot. It's really important that you don't use any wood or anything like that, because it will corrode. The lime will corrode. So I'm going to put all of these mixtures in the stainless steel pot, and once I get the oils in and the lye and I start mixing, I'm going to give you a close-up shot of in here so you can kind of see how it starts to turn, and then what I'm looking for it to do when I get all this together during the mixing process. So I'm going to first add the coconut oil. And like I said, this is not a big deal. This is just getting all the oil in. I will use a spatula. I did put a little extra, like a gram, in these just because I knew, and I had one of the other YouTube videos that I watched, they had made this suggestion, since I'm mixing it all separately, to add just one additional gram to the mixtures, since I was adding them, free adding them like this. Then, this is the olive oil. Y'all watch me dump this all over this kitchen. Lord have mercy. Of course, nothing fantastic happening just yet. And I am taking just an extra minute just to make sure I really get the edges and get, like, look at all that, get all this oil out that I can get. I did put an extra gram in, but I just want to make sure. Sorry, y'all, I need to look at it for myself for just a minute. All right. I'm going to move this off to the side now. Alright, so I've got the oil in, and now I'm going to carefully add the lye mixture. This is what's going to cause it to thicken up. And so I don't want to do any splashing or anything crazy, so I am going to just put it in like this off to the side of the container, because this is still, a very dangerous substance to be working with. There we go. Now I'm going to use the mixer. I'm going to put the mixer all the way in the bottom and get the air bubbles out, because I do not want it to splash back up at me. I'm a little bit nervous about it. just like the YouTube videos. I'm so excited. So we just move it around. I gotta get used to this mixture. You don't want to bring it up at all, of course, because you don't want any splash. Mix it around. And I've just got to find that happy space with it. Like I said, this is my first time. So y'all are coming along on this ride with me. One thing I do notice it wants to suction to the bottom of the pan. So that gives me like a little bit of, you know, makes me kitchen. But I do feel it starting to thicken up. So then they stop. It doesn't take very long. And I am starting to get trace. So now what I'm going to do, since I'm getting the trace, which means when you hold it over it, it kind of thickens up just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the rosemary and I'm going to add the color. And all of this you've got to do, you know, kind of quickly because it's thickening up as you sit. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rosemary. Got to be careful with this one. I know I'm counting quietly, y'all. 6, 7, and then going to add some color. And let's start this process. I want it just a little bit darker. I like the color, but I want just a little bit more. So I'm going to add a little more color just to kind of obtain, you know, that color that I'm looking for. Keep it down, Mandy. Keep it down. Okay, I've got trace, and it has some like squiggles in it. I actually like that, so I think I'm going to leave it right there. Now, will that fit? Nope. Can you hear me, that bowl right over there? Rob is helping me with the camera and everything today. I'm just going to set that in there. If you can just set it off to the side over there, that'd be fantastic. I just want to get that out of the way. All right, so now that this is done, I am going to fill this mold.
Like that, okay.
I hope y'all can see this. My arms are probably in the way. I hope not. All right.
No,
Keep going, you think?
You want to level up.
Okay. Like I said, y'all, this is my first time. Oh, It's okay if it gets outside just a little bit. Because I can smooth it later on. All right. Whew. All right, so now what I'm going to do, as Rob gets this smoothed out, I'm actually going to take my gloves off now because I'm not going to be messing with anything. I'm going to get a piece of plastic wrap, and I'm going to put a piece of plastic wrap over the top of this because I'm going to cover this, and it's going to sit for 24 hours. So while he does that, I'm going to get the plastic wrap. All right, so what we're going to do now is Rob is going to just not slam the mold.
We're just going to tamp it a little bit. Maybe work any air bubbles possibly. Maybe in it up a little bit. There shouldn't be any. The way she poured it went pretty good, so.
All right.
That probably didn't really make a big difference. I think it'd be fine.
Oh, y'all. I grabbed Reynolds wrap. I grabbed the wrong thing. Hold on one second, y'all. I really liked the plastic wrap when the gentleman did it, so that is what I'm going to utilize. It doesn't matter if it gets stuck to the soap. That doesn't play a factor in it at all. So then, use my handy dandy little cutter. Maybe, y'all. It's not working for me, honey. All right. So then you take the plastic wrap like that. This step is extremely important. Now that I have the plastic wrap on, that's just to protect your whatever you cover this in from getting soap on it. That's it. So you take a towel, a blanket, whatever you want to take, because you do not want this to cool too quickly. You want it to cool very even and at a slow rate. So I'm going to take this over the top of it, and I'm going to tuck in that edge, and I'm going to tuck in this edge, and then I'm not going to touch this for 24 hours. So when I snap my fingers, y'all, it will be the next day, and we will take this out of the mold so you can see the almost finished project. All right, guys, I'm back. So yesterday you saw that I did my first ever attempt at making soap, and I am still a nervous wreck because I don't know how it's going to turn out. Now, this morning when I woke up, I kind of peeked under, put my hand under there to make sure that it was, you know, getting nice and hard, and it was, but it said 24 hours, so I'm following the rule to the T, and I'm not touching it until 24 hours later. So it's been 24 hours, now it's done, and it's time for the great reveal to see how my soap turned out. So let's do it. So we had the strap on because, like Rob said, you see that these are hinged, but we don't have them. We don't have a latch to keep them together yet. We're going to add one to it. We just haven't. So you take off the plastic wrap, and we should be able to drop the hinges. And see how perfect, I mean, it just drops right out. The sides drop right out, and it exposes the soap. So you should be able to just pull the parchment paper off.
And this is a really large mold. This is the largest mold we have. We have silicone molds that are just like half the size of this. But we're doing a large quantity of this certain bar, so.
Yeah, and the recipe that I utilized is for 7 pounds. So this mold is for 7 pound recipe. If I didn't say that incorrectly. So then we can actually just flip this right out, and let's lay it on the table. Oh y'all, oh my gosh, it smells so good. Oh, wow, what a lovely, lovely smell. So this is the bar. Now the top, don't worry about that, because once this cures, which I'm going to get to that, I'll use a device to smooth it all out, but the rest looks fantastic. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this little pretty device, because I want the soap to have a design. Now you can use a straight cutter. You can use pretty much anything you want. But with this one, I really liked the design and the look of this. And so this is what I'm going to be using to cut this particular bar. Okay, so what I did, well, I didn't do it, y'all, but Rob did it for me. He went ahead and measured for me just so I kind of would know where to cut. And this particular bar, I'm making, they'll be about 1-inch bars. So now we're going to start to cut. And I just have to tell y'all again, this smells so good. I mean, it's not too powerful. It's just the perfect odor. The lilac is just wafting from this bar. It is just, I am in such floral happiness right now. It just smells so good. So here we go. We're going to start cutting. Look at that. Look at that. It looks so good. And I will do this side. I'll trim up that side. The end pieces I actually will probably keep for personal use, to be honest.
All right, this stuff's turning out really good. It looks great.
Last cut. All right. So I've got all the bars cut. I'm going to set these aside and I'll show you where everything goes, where it's all going to go to set. This has to cure for 6 to 8 weeks, just kind of depending. I'll check on it, but it's turned out phenomenal. It looks just magnificent. It smells just divine. I'm extremely happy with how it's turned out so far. All right, guys, so I have the lilac and rosemary soap put away, and so now I'm working on, this is strictly just rosemary. The essential oil I added is strictly just rosemary. And so I use this cutter with the previous bar, and so I'm going to actually utilize this cutter with this bar, and this is just a straight cutter, and you can do multiple bars at once. All right, this is the first time I've ever used this one, so I'm actually excited to see how this works. This is just guitar strings. Isn't that pretty neat, guys? All right, here we go.
This is like one of those satisfying videos you watch.
Oh! That startled me, actually. All right. Y'all, now the end I always take away. You guys, let me push this back a little bit and show you. Look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. I mean, it cut it perfectly.
We can come back and trim up the soaps and get the little lips off.
Yeah, if you'll see, that's what he's talking about. This is the top of it where I filled it just a little bit too much. We're gonna, you can use a potato peeler and just clean all that up, but I'm not really gonna do that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and let it cure first. But the smell is, it's divine. And look at all the pretty colors. don't know if y'all can see it or not. So guys, I have got to say, I am just excited. Alright guys, so we did it. We made soap. I can't believe it. I'm so excited and just really just elated that I was able to do this. I let my fears get the best of me, and so now that I've done it, I should have done this a long time ago. The possibilities are endless of what I'm going to be able to make. I've already started buying different things because I want to add like different wildflowers and stuff to soap. So my imagination is just going crazy right now. But I figured I'd take you guys along for the journey, because sometimes, you know, if I have somebody along with me, I feel like I can conquer my fears a little bit better. So the soap is done. My house smells magnificent. I'm going to go set this upstairs for about 6 weeks, and then this will be ready to use. And I already have so many people who are interested in getting some, so I'm just super excited. So thank you guys so much for coming along on this journey with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions during this process at all that you want to give me, please leave that in the comments below. I would love any suggestions or great recipes that you have to share with me. Mr. Nook, y'all, my dog is just jumping all around. So once again, guys, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. If you like if you like the content of this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so. I really would love my channel to grow. In addition to soap, we have so many other projects that we work on. We have a small farm on 1 acre that we do. If you haven't checked out those videos, feel free to go back and check out other videos we've put up. You can hit the bell notification if you're interested in seeing, you know, getting notified when we do upload new videos. So thank you so much, and it's been a fantastic experience. I'm so excited I got to share it with you guys. You have a great night. Bye, guys.